Hello and welcome to a Let's Play of Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. This is a blind Let's Play after a fashion. I'm saying that because I played this for a couple of hours and I have to restart it because the game crashed like every 10 to 15 minutes, and it crashed badly, not just to the desktop but to the point where I basically had to restart the computer every time. The only solution that worked for it is to underclock my graphics card. Otherwise this is totally unplayable for me. But this comes with a price. My graphics card is already pretty old and I need to look into an upgrade in the next year or two. But after having to underclock it, there's no way in hell I can play the game at full graphics and record at the same time. It's just not gonna work. It's gonna be a slideshow if I try to do that. So the graphic look of the game is terrible compared to what it can be. It looks fantastic. This is not quite the lowest settings, but pretty close to that. So this is an extremely stripped down as far as graphical look is. I think it's still workable here because this is mostly you looking at a group of guys from above. So this is I usually don't zoom in close or anything. I don't think I would. I certainly noticed the difference, but in a game like this, it's not that big of a deal. And it's a choice between basically not doing the let's play at all, or doing it like this. I'm certainly going to play it one way or another. I've looked forward to playing this for quite some time, so one way or another I'm playing this. So might as well make a recording of it. Four difficulty modes. This is the immediate what the fuck moment in the game. Explorer mode, classic mode, tactician mode, story mode. Here's the thing, story mode and explorer mode are the easy modes, so I don't get why they're sandwiching the two tougher modes. Classic is normal, tactician is hard. It just baffles me, the placing of the options, because it's not like it's going through an alphabetical order or any kind of sensible order. It's just easy, a little bit harder, normal, and toughest, I would guess. Maybe there's some sort of a someone has some sort of a logic when thinking this. I just don't understand what it is. I'll start with the normal mode for a couple of reasons. I do believe, generally speaking, you should play the game always at normal first, because you don't know what it's going to be like. I'm predicting this is very close to Original Sin 1, but at the same time, now having seen the couple of first hours of it, it's also different. So it's not going to work exactly like it. The problem here is this probably will get easy when we get to closer to the end of the game. At the same time, if we play hard right from the start, we could hit a couple of progression walls because we got too lazy with the equipment or chose bad skills or something. So usually hard mode is only really enjoyable once you have some sort of a clue what's coming your way, have good understanding of the fundamentals the game uses. So classic mode. A classic role-playing experience. You are cunning, resourceful, and prepared for the perils that await. The game gives you a few character creation options that are different from normal, and that's the 6 characters shown in the loading screens. They're sort of like companions in a normal game, but this gives you the option of playing as one of the companions, instead of a sort of random car guy with no background. And I think it would be a waste not to play as one of them. The game has a 4-man group and you play as a single character. There's a room for a second character here, but that means you are basically trying to play a multiplayer game if you try to create a character there, so you only play a single one. I'll go through all the origin stories. There's 6 of these. The Red Prince.
Famed, of course, for my unique red skin and unparalleled skills as a general of the House of War, I, the Red Prince, was raised within the vast palaces of the fabled Forbidden City. I was destined to become the next emperor. But my ambitions suffered a bit of a setback when I fell from grace for cavorting with demons. Now, I'm exiled and hunted by assassins. But I assure you, I remain undaunted and as determined as ever to claim my rightful throne.
Not interested. There are 2 spellcasting characters out of these 6 and I'm going to play one of them. Sibyl.
I used to be a slave, kept under the thumb of the master, the bastard that made me hunt down my own kin. How did he do that, you ask? With the living scar you see on my cheek, this horror that takes no more than a song sung by Master Dearest to control my very thoughts. But now the tables have turned. I broke my shackles, and when I finally find him, I will make the Master sing a very different kind of song.
So, former slave assassin. Ifan bin Mizd. Some sort of a hunter, I guess? Archer? Hunter, I guess, in this game.
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
Game throws a lot of names at you that you have no idea what they actually refer to or mean. Black Ring and things like that, a death fog. Beast. Some sort of a sailor dwarf.
I was just thinking about someone I used to know. My cousin, the Queen, in fact. A tyrant. I tried to stop her, but things don't always go according to plan. She cast me out to a forgotten island, and made short work of my allies, too. Lucky for me, I was able to commandeer a ship, and began a new life for myself, out on the high seas. Aye, but I hear that the Queen is at it again. And there's something darker behind her madcap schemes this time. If I don't stop her, I don't know who will.
Lose. This is one of the mages. Likely one which I'm gonna play. Interesting backstory.
All my life I've been a performer, a musician, beloved and celebrated by all. But I have a secret. I'm also a playground for sprites and spirits and worse. The voice that rings inside me now is darker than any that came before. Almost caused a bunch of my fans to rip each other to pieces. But you can trust me. I've got this under control. Step 1. Find out who, or what, is trying to take control of my mind. Step 2. Make it sorry it ever tried.
Yeah, probably gonna take this. Spellcaster, musician, I suppose like a bard. I'm visioning a support caster, that sort of guy. So everyone else is gonna do the killing, I'm gonna do the supporting. Buffing, debuffing, casting whatever we can at every opportunity. Bane, another caster. Another interesting backstory in a sense, but I don't vision the gameplay aspect or story aspect of this character playing quite so well as Lose does. He seems more like a detective version, or sort of like tracking down past irrelevant history instead of having interesting events happen to you right now.
Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not. Yet when I emerged from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world. Trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed.
Right. This he looks interesting. I don't think his story necessarily is all that interesting. Probably. There are custom races for all the races, and then the undead versions of them. Undead dwarf, undead elf, undead human, undead lizard. A lot of nice options there. And mine is gonna be Lose. We'll have to pick a preset that has the equipment set up we want. We're mostly going to be support casting. Naturally, that doesn't mean I don't do anything else. Encourage. Encourage allies around you, increasing their primary attributes for 3 turns. Maddening Song. Sing, causing enemies in the target area to become mad. Maddened characters will attack those nearest them, regardless of alignment. The preset would basically just... we can change all that here, but it will determine what type of initial gear we might be getting, or skill sets. Actually, I'm not sure if it even determines the gear. There's a reason for it, there's no point in me going into it though. We don't necessarily need as much offensive power, so we might want to take a shield to start with. Conjure. Yeah, someone must put something extra in their pockets. Or she's just happy to see me. These don't mean anything, I just want the shield and maybe whatever that is. I'm not gonna change appearance because she's origin character, so her appearance is what it is. I edit everything. Attributes in my limited understanding work differently from the first game. They do affect what type of gear you can wield, but their effects on a lot of things seem to be much more limited than they were in the first game. For example, nothing affects the amount of action points you have. So there's no real point in trying to focus on that. You have your strength build that increase carry weight and strength-based weapon damage. No, strength-based weapon and skill damage by 5% and carry weight. Finesse, plus 5% finesse-based weapon and skill damage. Intelligence, intelligence-based damage. Constitution, how much vitality you have, and I think shields also require some level of constitution, better shields. Memory affects the amount of memory slots, basically skill slots, which are required to learn skills. More powerful skills cause more memory slots. So you get these naturally, at least some, and each point in memory just gives you another. So if you are very narrowly focused, you don't really need the extra slots. But if you want to take, let's say, 3, 4 skill focuses, you absolutely must get more slots, otherwise you can't use your learned skills. On the positive side, this game allows you to sort of, this is like D&D Wizard in a way, in that you can learn a huge amount of abilities, but there's a limited amount you can use at a time. The benefit of this system is that the skills you sort of select as your active ones, they're unlimited in use. There's just a cooldown. So you can, for every fight, you can basically select a different group of skills you use in that fight. So memory just allows you to use a wider selection of skills in a fight. But as far as I can understand, there is no limit to the amount of skills you can learn, just the limited amount of skills you can use at one time. Memory allows you to use more skills. So if you know what you're doing, you probably can get away with very little memory. Wits affects critical hit chance, initiative, and your ability to detect traps and find hidden treasure, which is useful. Someone has to take it, but again, compared to what attributes used to do, this is all. You just want one of the first 3, so you have a damage focus, some constitution probably, especially if you have a shield, and memory if you want to be widely spread widely instead of focused narrowly, and wits if you are want to detect traps and find hidden treasure. Initiative is nice, but it's not that amazing. So caster intelligence, but it's only damage. So actually memory might be better for us. I'll do more intelligence. The reason is because I can't start the game with buying new abilities anyway, and every time I level up I get new attribute points. So if I take a lot of memory, I think I would basically start with a lot of empty slots and gain no benefits from attributes for a while. Abilities. Again, works differently from the first game. I'm not quite sure where all the differences are. They work together with talents, so I want to look at my talents before I choose the abilities themselves. Ingenious. Gives 5% bonus critical chance and 10% extra critical multiplier. This sort of goes against what my character design is, because this would be great for an attacking character. Critical chance is normally 0, so you need wits or abilities like these to be able to do critical hits reliably. Or 10% extra critical multiplier, so extra damage when we get critical hits. If I just stand back and support, this is wasted. Thrifty gives you +1 bartering, so there's that. These come with the origin story, so I can't select that, but I can select one extra talent in addition to that. And it has to be pet, pal, ability to talk to animals. This is because this is my first time playing this, so I need to absolutely know what can we get from the ability to talk to animals. I need to know it now. So it's not useful, probably. I think it had like... In the first game it gave you hints about certain secrets and puzzles, things like that. Hints about where to go in the game, who to talk to. And it had like one quest that required it. And it was for a were sheep, I guess. So fundamentally irrelevant. But I need to know what exactly the game offers in this one. Could be a wasted talent, could be something useful. Right, I don't want to take a damage skill. 2 combat abilities, 1 civil ability. There's no crafting skill in this one, so I'm sort of don't know how crafting is going to work. In the first game, crafting is skill limited amount of access to powerful crafting options. In this, since there is no crafting ability, I don't know how it's gonna work. It can't work the same way as in the first game. But I have no idea how they're going to limit it. So just have to wait and see. It also might be a problem in the sense that I don't know what to pick up at this time. So I'm sort of thinking I'm going to some extent ignore crafting. I'm not saying I won't learn it or use it, I'm saying I don't want to pick up every piece of shell and wooden stick that lies on the ground in the hopes that it might be a recipe for used in a recipe at some later point in the game. I just don't want to do that. Civil abilities are rarer than combat abilities because there's a very limited amount of them. So we'll have to make our choices count. Because this is my main character, I'm thinking maybe go with persuasion. This is gonna be the one I'm gonna talk with anyone anyway. Bartering is nice, but I don't give a crap. Also, one thing I've noticed, skills seem to be shared in this game, civil ability skills, to a certain extent. Meaning, I was thinking about which skills are shared and which are not, and I'm actually not sure at this point. But it means I don't have to, for example, give our lore master guy all items that need to be identified. As long as we have someone in the group, he will identify for you. The gamepad just basically lets you know that this character's skill is being used. This is most notable when you try to examine an NPC and your character doesn't have a lore master skill. It shows you information based on the highest lore master skill in your party. I don't see how that could work with sneaking and thievery, for example, though. So I was sort of thinking about what exactly is shared and what exactly isn't. But lore master certainly is shared in between the party. So I was thinking, is persuasions and barterings also shared? I don't dare to take the chance, so I'll take Persuasion with Lose. Our party leader, support character, one who talks with everyone anyway. Compatibilities have to be 2 abilities. No weapon skills. Defense skills, no. These sort of suck to me. Retribution reflects damage. This seems like this could be useful in some builds after you're at a high level. I don't see who would be the madman to start investing this as a priority early on. Leadership gives minor bonuses to everyone around you, but again, another one where, yeah, this might be cool if you already have a solid set of abilities to rely on. This is not a good thing to start out with. Perseverance restores magic armor after you recover from frozen and stunned, and physical armor after knocked down and petrified. This is a niched thing, and it only restores 5% armor at this one skill level. So all defense abilities to me seem like you need to know very precisely what you want out of them before there's any point in investing in them. Weapons are just extra damage, more or less. Two-handed has an extra critical multiplier, which is extra damage. Range has critical chance and damage, dual wielding, damage and dodging. But more or less 5% damage at least, then a secondary bonus. The thing is, the skills sort of do the same. Warfare, physical attacks deal 5% more damage. Huntsman, 5% all damage when attacking from high ground. Note that this bonus is applied after all other bonuses have been applied. 5% critical multiplier, plus 0.3 movement speed. 5% more damage, doesn't really say. Increases all fire damage you do. Water attacks do more damage. You heal more. Magic armor from skills and potions is restored more. 5% more damage. Poison and earth attacks deal more damage. Physical armor from skills and potions is restored a little bit more. Heal 10% of damage dealt. So Necromancer is interesting. Attack and defend at the same time. Summon. Summons start with 10% more vitality, damage, physical armor and magic armor. This is one of the major differences for the first game. Physical and magical damage attack different attributes or shields. The game uses the word armor for them. You basically have 3 health pools. Physical health pool, magical health pool and your vitality health pool. And armor and magic, or physical and magic armor, are sort of like shields. They recharge after every fight, and you have to go through them before you can start damaging the target's vitality. Some targets have a lot of physical defense, some have none, and so forth. So it offers a different type of variety between the enemies, and a different type of attacks attack different armors. So you would think that it would prefer like a party that can always attack the weakest part, and it sort of does, but the thing is, I think this game actually might be better or easier if you focus just on one, because then you have 4 guys in your party that can attack that one point. Even if it's a little bit tougher than the weaker armor, you still have 4 guys attacking it compared to maybe 2 guys. So the armor difference is not gonna be that drastic. So I'm not sure if that's actually going to be the case in the game. That's just something I think is a possibility. I'll start with Necromancy and Hydrosophist. Actually, I'm not so sure about Necromancy. I like the Necromancy spells in the first game, and Hydrosophist has heal. That's basically it. Actually, let me think about this. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but it's good enough. Heal is good enough for this point. Restores vitality of a target character, so your basic health hit points. Cures poison and bleeding. Mosquito Swarm. Decaying Touch. Raise Bloated Corpse. Bloodsucker. I don't want another heal ability at this time. I'd like the physical attack ability maybe. Decaying Touch is usually good. Raise Bloated Corpse. It raises a bloated cadaver to fight for you. It can explode, dealing physical damage. Here's the thing. I'm not quite sure which would be the best. We probably want at least one attack ability, but we also need to keep in mind what our character design is. Hail Strike requires 3 action points. We basically have 4 action points at the start of the game. You can save up to 6 action points in a turn if you save action points from a previous turn, but that's it. And I have no idea how the hell you raise action points for your character, or if there even is a way to do it. So 3 action points for a simple attack like this that barely does any damage, that's a high cost to pay. We have 3 sort of buffing abilities and shitty attack. Necromancy has a shitty attack, but it costs 1 action point less. So Mosquito Swarm, it attacks and heals at the same time. So I can heal another and I can attack and heal myself. I'm not sure if I should take it as a summoning spell or maybe the Decaying Touch. The Decaying Touch would allow me to use the healing spell as an attack ability, so it would do damage instead of healing. It's also pretty much mandatory against opponents that have a lot of heal capacity, like potions. Otherwise they'll always heal themselves before you have a time to kill them. I sort of doubt this is a problem at this early in the game, but it's a possibility is there. Summoned creature would go a long way too. I'm sort of thinking I'll take the Armor Frost maybe. Because it provides a little bit of magic defense, but it also cures burning, poison, stunned, frozen, suffocating, and petrified. So a little bit of attack, a little bit of heal, a little bit of status effect removal. I think that's pretty much it. Attack selection. I don't think we can really uncheck these. This is low set. Jester. Quick with a quip and a swift of song. You are an entertainer above all. You can disarm the public with your bawdy tales and mesmerize them with midnight frights. Mystic. Cracks in reality lead you to other times and places, some of the void, some of the gods. Your vision is not quite your own, but you can make use of it. You're also a female, a human, and Blowset. These are basically open certain type of dialogue options for you. That's it. And an instrument. So 2 guitar type instruments and flute and a cello. Cello. I'll take the oud as my instrument. Yes. I'm super sure.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
It's an interesting start to the game, because that character has nothing to do with you.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough.
Magister Sivan.
Easy now, no need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Right.
Damn. And here I was hoping my upstairs visitor was just playing tricks on me.
The game doesn't look that bad when you look at it from this distance. I mean, it doesn't look amazingly good, but it's still everything's clearly still what you see. Boarded floors, barrels, electricity, lightning, poison or water drops. Texture quality isn't great when you look close, but everything's still easily recognizable as what it is. And when you look at it from this distance, it doesn't matter too much. Lack of shadows is a little bit obvious, but that's about it. I tried the lowest texture setting, but I don't think it'll have that much of an effect on performance anyway. And if you could not tell what the floor is made of at the lowest texture quality, so it honestly looks terrible at that level. But on the positive side, it's a lot of range for the game to play through. The graphical options go from absolutely god awful terrible to amazing detail and quality. So this probably works on pretty much every piece of crap computer, no matter how bad it is.
Who are you? Nobody?
Right. This is what memory slots are. The skills you know, the skills you are currently using. So no point taking extra memory really, because we don't have that skills to begin with. We have a Resurrection Scroll, Shitty Healing Potion, and a Firestorm Grenade. Threadbare Pants, Source Color, which cannot be unequipped. Threadbare Gown. This sets us Source Muted, Unbreakable. I don't know what it means. We have Vitality, Action Points, and Source Points, which we currently have 0. Action Points. Start action point 4, maximum action point 6, turn action point 4. I have no idea how we would get more action points, but if there's a way, that is the most valuable thing ever in this game. Scrolls seem to require the same amount of action points as skill would. So the the action point cost will vary depending on the scroll. Which means scrolls are massively less useful than they were in the first game. But you could still probably skip the cooldowns using scrolls, so they're not worthless by any means. Right. Orange juice. Autosave. Ball and chain. We can climb up. Don't want to yet. The hold. Ladder to upper deck. Also, I could take a helmet. A little bit of physical armor. 2 out of 2. Preferably we would like things that restore physical armor and magical armor and vitality for others, if possible.
Hey, a sheep!
Don't be an ass. Egg. Constitution +1 for 3 turns. It's 7% extra hit points. When you have 30 hit points, that's not gonna be all that many. Probably a waste of an action point, really. You go on top of that. Potato, mug of wine, Saint pants. Ooh, it provides extra physical armor, so it's an improvement over our threadbare pants. High quality armor already. Cargo door key.
Shaking her fluffy coat, the sheep eyes you balefully, her rectangular eyes like letterboxes to the void. With one sharp hoof, she kicks you right in the shin.
Fresh meat. Nice. Plump. Banded like a chicken's leg, too.
Say you're glad she likes to joke around. Has she heard the one about the dancing sheep?
The depth of unamused ennui staring back at you from those ovine eyes is startling.
Are you referring to the ballerina? Oh, so funny, so funny.
With 2 shakes of her stumpy tail, the sheep turns away from you to peruse her hay-filled manger.
Yeah. This is my worry with the pet pal skill. Yeah, you can talk with the animals, but if you can't actually gain something useful out of it, what the hell did you
expect a
tell in
needle?
the first place?
Get your dirty little paws out of my hair.
Pocket knife. Well, it's a weapon. I'm taking all the food. I need to eat it once to see the effect. Not sure if there's any point in picking up all the letters. But that's mainly for assuming I might want to make scrolls later. So even scrolls like these, message scrolls, could be useful. Orders from the guard steward. Important. It is come to my attention again that several of you are bypassing the cargo hold security measures by sliding boxes onto the pressure plates. This will not do. The purpose of these measures is to require the presence of at least 3 magisters at a change of shift. Any deviation will result in at least 1 magister getting thrown overboard. Make sure it isn't you, Magister Spawn. Suppose we should boil these or something. Also, I don't actually need any healing at the moment. Well, I'm not picking up the food for that though. Heals, poison resistance. We have Hemwar, Magister Renard. Hemwar is in a cell and Magister Renard is sleeping and at half health for some reason. Out of oil. Electric discharge scroll. Auto save.
You there. Come here.
You can cheat the enemy areas of sight to... Ooh, Thievery 1 required, can't pickpocket him.
Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in?
Demand to know what exactly is in it for you.
Set me free, and I'll set you free. A fair trade, I should think.
How will you set me free? You're the one in a cage and you also have the collar, so I assume you can't remove mine. Eye him carefully. Why is he in a cage in the first place?
Your guess is as good as mine. Someone screamed loud as a banshee. After that, pure pandemonium. They never even told me what I was accused of. Just dragged me down here.
Agree to help. Ask what to do.
A gentlewoman among jesters, you are. Give that lever a pull, and I guarantee we'll both get something out of the deal.
Looks simple enough.
Before you can even touch the lever, you hear a sniff and snort behind you as the snoring Magister mumbles himself awake. One bloodshot eye opens, and then another.
Is my shift over? Are you here to relieve me? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face.
We have 3 persuasion options. Wits, Constitution and Finesse, neither of which we have. We can try to convince him to go to upper deck. That's basically the only option. It just depends on what we try. Let's try Constitution. It's just because it sort of seems like it might actually be somewhat useful. Tell him you heard yelling coming from above. He needs to get up there. The witch would sort of try me pretending to be one of the magisters, which I'm obviously not based on my clothing. And this would be... One of the guards on the upper deck fell overboard. He should check it out. How the hell would I know? This seems vague enough that it might actually work.
Damn. If it's not one thing, it's another. And no way I can trust those fools to deal with any nonsense on their own. Can't leave the prisoner alone, though. He's been nothing but trouble, I hear.
Oh, I have some intelligence. A remark on the sturdiness of the cell bars. Prisoner is not going anywhere.
That's all I needed to hear. Just don't let that caged rascal fool you. You can't trust him as far as you can throw him.
Yay. Wonder what's the consequence of letting him out.
The prisoner's buoyant voice darkens as his eyes rest on yours.
Ah, freedom. Tastes better than wine. I'm nothing if not a man of my word. And I did give my word I'd set you free, lass. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them. The halls await.
I think I'm in a better position to survive this than he is, because we're both gonna die without healing. I can at least cancel the burning. Give myself a little bit of magical shield and suck a little bit of his life.
I'm ready.
And he had nothing. Well, what's done is done.
Junk.
Rope can be used for fuses. At least it used to be able to use for that.
I'll need to get clever with this lock.
Try lockpick on this door. Physical armor potion. 26 physical armor restored. I have 3. And it doesn't give you armor, it restores your potential. I'm not quite sure how useful that's gonna be. Candle is a portable source of flame that we can throw around. I'll pick that up. Right, we would in general want elemental manipulation of surfaces anyway. That's a good way to support your damage dealers. Minor healing potion, minor healing potion. Ooze barrel, can I get rid of that? And burn away the ooze if the barrel is not there. Empty potion bottles. That's it. Not everything interactable is highlighted, so I'll need to look around manually a little bit. I don't spot anything interesting here. Right, there's a problem with the attack spell I chose. I can't target inanimate objects with the mosquitoes. Also, I look like an idiot with the bucket on my head, so I think I'll just not use that. Right, so
Get your dirty little paw.
nothing new here. A little bit of initiation of the game system and made our character, that's about it. More or less this seems very similar to the first game. There's clearly mechanical differences, how everything plays out that could have far-reaching consequences, but it looks more or less the same, functions more or less the same. So if you like the first game, I don't see any, or are familiar with it, you should have no problems getting into the second one. How it actually ends up playing out is a different matter, but fundamentally it's pretty much the same.